They posted the source code. The math was the source code. We got a match here. So we're playing what's a double combo deck, basically. So game one, we are a Reanimator deck. One of the things they do in Hex is each player has what's called a champion power. And you can see my opponent and I, we have different portraits and different starting life totals. So the champion determines your starting life total. And in addition to that, so my champion power says for 3 charges. So basically every time I play 3 resources, I get to draw a card and then discard a card. So it lets me get my big giant fatties into my discard pile so I can reanimate them. And my opponent's champion power, whenever they play 7 resources, they create an Oracle Song that lets them draw a couple extra cards. This is one of those Fate Weave resources that I was talking about. So I want to hit like my first 4 resources guaranteed in a matchup like this. My opponent, this is one of the other things, like I was talking about interactive decks being bad in Magic and Modern. Interactive decks are much better in Hex because you get to make educated mulliganing decisions. So like I get to look at my opponent's champion and go, my opponent's champion is generally a control deck. So I should keep a hand that's better against control decks. So like I don't need to mulligan aggressively for a hand that's good against aggro decks. There's none of the oh, well, I kept a hand that was kind of okay against an aggressive deck, and my opponent was playing mid-range, so, like, I had a bunch of awkward cards in it. Or, like, oh, I kept a hand that's, like, kind of awkward against an aggro deck, but was good against a control deck, and they were playing aggro, so I died. So, like, that just doesn't happen in Hex. The Eternal card game, like, their opening hand thing is so incredibly lazy compared to what Hex did. It's kind of unreal. Unless they've changed it, do they still do the everyone gets 1 mulligan and your mulligan is guaranteed to have 2 to 5 resources in it? Yeah, it's great. They don't just like use the fact that they're a digital card game to like put a bunch of random crap in the game like Hearthstone does. They use the digital design space to make the game more enjoyable, in my opinion. Yep, the symbol in the center is the different phases changing as they go through here. There's actually a phase counter on the left side here along with round timers that's covered by my deck list because in general that's not super important to the people that are watching the stream. Yeah, see, like that's so lazy. And they have to implement like this deck building restriction on top of it. Like, it's really annoying in my opinion. It was one of those things where like, it's like, oh, this is just so much worse than what Hex did. So my Reanimator strategy in general isn't fantastic against control decks. In fact, this is one of our, it's really good against aggressive decks though. So this card is a 9-cost 8/8 with Steadfast, which is like Vigilance for the Magic players out there. And it says myself and my other creatures have Invincible. So basically, if I can get this into play, I can get this into play by turn 4 or 5 against aggressive decks with my Reanimator spells. I just have this giant body and a bunch of stuff that's invincible. I'm going to go ahead and Withering Gaze my opponent here, which lets me look at their hand and take an action out of it. Non-troop, non-resource. There is priority in Hex. So you can see here, I have what are called quick actions here, and my opponent can respond to my Withering Gaze with quick actions of their own. I'm going to go ahead and Runebind their Runebind here. Invincible is essentially indestructible, yep. I'm gonna go ahead and pass here. So my opponent had 2 Dark Hearts and a Glory in their hand. Kind of, only it's permanent. This is a permanent effect as long as this is in play. So until they get rid of this, all my stuff is invincible. I do not need the fatal pushes. Do you want me to send them back right now? Let me drop that league and do that. Stick it. I'm gonna go ahead and play Heart's Whisper. But see, so the problem is with something like that where you get to reveal your hand, that allows people to abuse the system with combo decks, right? Yeah, you get decks like Belcher that get a bunch of free mulligans. Whereas with Hex, because they're using a modified hypergeometric distribution, they're able to make it so people people can't abuse that. So like if you build a deck with 5 resources in it, you're still going to get a bunch of no resource hands, because a deck with only 5 resources in it has way more than 10% of their hands that have no resources in it. And that's why the system is so elegant compared to like what Eternal and like what that could be, because like the amount of hands it's getting rid of, the hands getting rid of vary depending on what your deck is. Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of an interesting example of Hex's resource system. So this Permafrost card, when I play it, it doesn't actually make a color that adds to my color pool down here, but it strips all of the colors off of the card that I select with when I play it. So this card I could play even if I didn't have the Sapphire for it, because we splash a couple of cards from a 3rd shard type in this deck. Hex has actual tournament play. I play TCGs as a competitive outlet, and Eternal is just casual in-game prizes. That's all they do is casual in-game prizes. Whereas with Hex, I can play a $1,000 cash tournament every Saturday and every single Sunday. Hex has a focus on quality gameplay, whereas Eternal has a focus on quick, fast gameplay. They have things that like their ladder is best of 1 and stuff like that. I think I'm just runebinding this to not take the hit. So this Runebind card takes my opponent's card and slides it off to over here into a mysterious rune. And what this does is it kind of sits in the stasis state until my opponent draws a resource. I'm going to Withering Gaze my opponent here, see what they've got going on in their hand. This Aegilus, even though... Take this Clash of Steel. Even though I don't have diamond thresholds in my deck, because of this Permafrost card I was talking about, I can play this Permafrost and strip the diamond off of here. No. Permafrost only removes the thresholds from up here in the corner. It doesn't remove thresholds from the rest of the card, which is a pretty important distinction. Gonna hardcast our 9-drop here. Hopefully they didn't draw an interrupt. Sweet. Play Eternal Seeker here. This is another one of our fatties that we reanimate, but this one's shardless to start, so we can just cast it. Yeah, someone asking about Eternal versus Hex. Hex also has a full buy-sell trade secondary market, so you don't have to play the, what I like to call the shitty, I'm blanking on the term here. The shitty sub-game of... This is kind of the shitty sub-game of, like, grinding cards. So I'm going to go ahead and Runebind my Eternal Seeker here, because I just Fate Weaved a resource to the top of my deck. And then I'm going to go ahead and loot with my Champion Power, since we draw a card and discard a card, so I'm going to discard that, but then this recast, so I can kind of use Runebind on a defensive better. Aegilus is not the, we call them unique in Hex, and Aegilus is not unique. So if you get 2 Aegiluses out, they make each other invincible, which is a hard lock against aggressive decks. Running tournaments out of client is super awkward and time-consuming and frustrating. Okay, Transmog is my last card here. Is decent because I get to Transmog this off the table. Kind of surprised that they didn't champ power here. I guess they might post-combat. And like, so in client, like how often are those community tournaments? Like I said, with Hex, I can play 2 $1,000 tournaments every single weekend, plus qualify for the 5K that happens every other month. So Transmogrifade turns my opponent's troop into a different artifact constant or troop with cost 1 less. I guess I'll let this happen now. I did not get a socketed card. That's actually kind of better for me, right? This is now a Rage 1 speed. Give a 2/3, sure. Focus here. I'm not going to attack with that, actually. I think I'd rather leave that back to block. We're at 9 here. Peace, Captain. Thanks for hanging out. Tier 1 competitive Hex deck range, usually somewhere around the $100 mark. Some are cheaper at 50 and some are more expensive at like 150. But usually somewhere around 100 bucks. The Ruby aggressive decks that have been tearing things up recently are about 80 or 90, I think. Hex's standard format rotates the oldest 2 sets every even set release. So when set 8 releases here in like 3 months or so, the 2 oldest sets are going to rotate out. Cards you'd want to avoid spending money on if you want to pick up decks that are a little bit more rotation proof is Transmogrifade and Runebind Hierophant are the 2 kind of expensive staples that are going to be rotating out from set 3. Does Hex use? I don't know what real numbers means. Well, they don't have an interrupt for this. This is very good. It's prophesized from this. Sweet. So we get to go ahead and draw 3 cards, one of which is guaranteed to be a non-resource. Am I just going to put Aegilus into play with this? I'm going to Heart's Whisper first here, draw 2 more cards. They release sets every 4 months or so. And the important thing about Hex is, like, the constructed ladder is completely free to play on. So, like, in that budget Hex decks article that I linked you to, I know multiple people that have gotten all the way to Cosmic and gotten all of the free ladder rewards every season with $20 decks that I list at the top. Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and put an Aegilus back into play. I think I'm gonna be a little bit conservative and just pass here again. They could have like a Runebind or something for this and like attack through. I smiled behind my sandwich. Alright, I think we're gonna jam Eternal Seeker here and wipe out all of the 1-drops and then attack with these 2. I'm gonna hold this Theorize for now until I draw a resource. This draws 2 and discards 1, so I want to wait till I have a bad card in my hand that I want to discard. They could also Runebind this here. So if they Runebind this, I'm going to Theorize afterwards, because Runebind again puts it in stasis until I draw a resource, so this could draw me a resource to unrunebind it right away. An attack with. It's 2 Dorkos. This has Crush, which is nice. Or does it have Crush? No, it's got Rage. That's a pretty big hit there. So my opponents, you'll notice their championship picture changed here. They played a card called Psychic Ascension, which changed their champion. So now every time my opponent plays an action, they get a random troop. Usually it's pretty hard to win from here. We've got a pretty good board state, so we might be able to sneak it out. I'm going to mute myself for a second here and continue eating my sandwich. Feel free to post questions in chat. If you're interested in, have a question about what's going on, if you're one of the Magic players that's hanging out, there's a lot of Hex players that help out with stuff like that. Oh, and this thing flies for some reason too, so we're just gonna crack them with these 2 giant flying dorks. Or with this giant flying dork, and this guy's got steadfast, so let's get in that bunghole here, try and push through lethal. Got 4 cards in hand, let's see what they got. Into the Unknown's pretty good. Pretty good. What do we get? We got a Cage Bomb. Deploy, destroy target thing, okay. A Transmog a 7-drop, yep, into a different 5/5 flyer, deal. I'm gonna go ahead and do this here. Loot through. Spin this Cage Bomb and place Exarch of the Egg out. 1/3 lethal, send me up. Well, we could die here, right? If this thing, the top card of your deck is a resource, it gets +2 power. The top card of the deck is a resource, we die to this. It was not, so we're not dying, so I get to block here and then take 8. Go to 1. Ding. Alright, I have a Mordrom's Gift to put Aegilus into play. Why did they concede? Did they not realize the one was stunned and not readying? Alright. So post-board against a control deck, we get to board into our Storm strategy, which involves this card called Syzygy. It says whenever we play an action, all other actions with that same name get -1 cost in all zones. And these escalate cards that say, after you play them, you tick the number up by 1, and then you shuffle it back into your deck. So basically, the first time we play this, it's going to be a 3 cost, draw 1. Then it'll draw 2, then it'll draw 3. And if we had Syzygy out, it'll get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper every time we play it too. Which is fairly strong. I don't care about this extra Transmogrifade. Didn't bring in the extra Transmogrifade. We don't care about these Transmogrifades at all. A couple of Transmogrifades are probably fine. Let's get one of each of these. Seems good. Oh, they had Lethal and Punted? Oh, I missed it. Oh, they had Tactician. This hand's very good. We get to go Syzygy, and we have a Bounty of the Magus right away. So getting Syzygy early and Bounty early are both very, very good. The sleeve I'm using is the Into the Unknown animated sleeve from the Hex Clash right now. Yeah, top 16 are going to door prize. This is the Into the Unknown AAA. Yeah, so one of the sweet things they do in this game, instead of having like awkward foils that bend and twist weird, we get animated cards in Hex for premium cards. Which actually, for top 16ing the Bash today, I got a new animated sleeve and animated card. Yeah, right? But Hex doesn't get the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Here's stick Syzygy next turn so we can get it under their counter magic. Perfect. Let's keep stacking up resources on top of our deck here. And this is basically a control mirror now, where we have like a Storm-esque win condition. And one of the sweet things about our Storm-esque win condition is that like Bounty is one of our cards that helps us combo off, but it also helps us like just amass card advantage in the early game, which is sweet. That sucks. Alright, so that's going to make this game a little bit harder. So, Into the Unknown returns the card to my hand, and then every other card with the same name as that card in my deck turned into something else. So, my actual Stormwind condition is no longer viable now. Unless we grind them out a little bit. You can't respond to your own cards in Hex, so I can't play this and Runebind it. Yeah, I'm probably still going to kill them with Violet's Caresses this game, right? I think that's probably still a thing that's about to happen. Yep. Sure. Is it bad? That's fine. Yes, correct, Burgle. So this is actually one of our opponent's better starts against us. My opponent needs to beat us down. So they're actually just dead in 3 here, right? So like, we kind of need to hit some action here ASAP. My champion power to draw discard here. I might have to Runebind one of these. Oh, this is Prophesied, so we're gonna have to discard a card. Awkward. Violet's Crest is actually a really good hit, because Violet's Crest could let us kill these things. Yeah, I shouldn't have played that, because now I'm gonna have to discard a card. I think it's just this Permafrost. Going on here, Tick. So Violet's Caress does 1 damage to something, and then it escalates, so it puts itself back into my deck, and then the next Violet's Caress is going to do 2 damage to something, and it has life drain, so it's going to gain me life. And gaining life is actually pretty good here, right? Because it means that I'm going to be able to... This is a 3-turn clock then, instead of a 4-turn clock. They might fight over this, just because it increases the clock. Nope, okay. Theorize here, see what we find. We draw 2, discard 1. The transformative sideboard's a lot of fun. I'm putting non-resource on top of my deck here, and then go ahead and crack in with these. Hopefully this Eternal Seeker with this Runebind backup can force through and void their 4-drops here. That being said, they do have like a full grip full of cards, right? So I might actually just Runebind one of these now, so that way I don't take damage from it. Nice, D. Brian, congrats. It's ideal to go first in Hex, just like in Magic. A lot of the decks care about the tempo generated by playing first, especially constructed. In some of their sealed formats, going second is okay. Like last season in 6-6 or 6-6-5 sealed, I think drawing was right a lot of the time. So, drawing the 1 Mordrom's Gift was like the card that punished us for doing this, because I could Eternal Seeker this turn off of this with this as backup. We're gonna Dream Call for X's 5 with Runebind up here. I'm gonna Dream Call in response here. If X is 5, this costs me 6, yep. I don't understand what you mean, Gotez, with their pairings. Alright, I had a weave. That's fine. Hopefully that means they're going to draw a card with this, and then we'll be able to... Hopefully they'll draw a resource with this, which puts this into play. Damn it. That's so bad for us. Oh! Oh, this is going to turn into a Syzygy. That's actually okay for us, right? Actually, Dece for us, like Dece plus even. I forgot that Dream Call was originally, I wouldn't have even fought over that if I do that. That's really awesome. I don't have any troops in my crypt, right? Oh, alright. Plays Eternal Seeker. Void their 4-drop here. I'm not attacking here. I don't think these points of life are going to matter. Actually, they do matter, right? Yeah, I'm going to attack with these because putting them down to a power of 21, I think, is reasonable with our plan. Although maybe I'm supposed to save that because they could have a Dark Heart here. I want more things to sacrifice to Dark Heart. Pride's Vault, sure. I have a Mordrom's Gift. So if they play a Dark Heart, I can gift back that Eternal Seeker. This is why, like, we leave Eternal Seekers in post-board, even though we're going on, like, the Storm plan. Because, like, it's reasonable to remove a lot of them, so we can do things like kill my opponent's threats. Yep. Probably gonna lead on Theorize next turn. Draw 2, discard 1. Sweet, found a resource in there, let's spin that. Cast the Syzygy. Verdict, sure. Eternal Seeker, send me up. Gift this one out of my crypt. Another counter here. They have another counter here, we're going to be in trouble because this is 4 points of power here. They do not. Sweet. They're 4 drops. Go ahead. Again, our champion power lets us draw a discard, but like I don't have anything I'm really looking to discard right now, so I want to save this until I have something extra in my hand to bid. Dark Heart's fine. Double Dark Heart is kind of annoying on the surface, but I have another Eternal Seeker, so like it's really not a big deal. So these make me sacrifice a non-socketed card every turn, so I'm going to lose both these permanents I have here. But then like this Eternal Seeker comes down and I get to just void their 4 drops. I drew a resource here, so let's go ahead and discard that. Withering Gaze, sweet. Go ahead and take a peekaboo at what's in their hand since I have 8 resources. They might have like a Psychic Ascension they've been holding on to. Be nice if they have 2 Psychic Ascensions. Alright, well let's take one of those. Let's play this and get rid of their Dark Hearts. So they get to Ascend next turn. They like have Ascension versus our Eternal Seekers again, and like flying troops are really good against Ascension, especially large ones. And we have a bunch of bounties of the Magus in our deck, and we haven't even really played 1 Heart's Whisper. So we've got like 4 bounties of the Magus in our deck that draw 3 cards each right now. We know this is guaranteed to take something out of their hands here, unless they have a quick action. Generated a Verdict of the Ancient King, sure. Alright, I'm going to play this and void their 2-drop here, because this is going to turn into a random troop in play. Let's just get rid of that, and then go ahead and Eternal Seeker Beatdown. Opponent gets to generate a random action every turn with this. In addition to, when they play those actions, they get random troops. So hopefully we hit one of our draw spells here. If we hit a draw spell here, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. We know they just drew a resource. Yep, I'm just going to attack with both of these. Puts them dead on board. It's kind of crazy how often the just like killing you with a Turtle Seeker plan is good in this matchup, just because like Bounty of the Magus just like drew us a bunch of cards and like put us ahead and we got to play a bunch of Eternal Seekers out. So like they needed to either generate a flying troop or Shroud, sure. Yeah, I'm 10 out of 10 just gonna bury 3. This I have to choose. I either bury 3 cards off the top of my deck or that gets 3 power, so I would like to bury 3 cards. I buried an Incubation Webs, which is a Syzygy. Okay, we buried 3 bad cards, sweet. Hopefully we find one that draws cards here. Yeah, that's true, Burgle. The Sapphire Diamond control deck does not have very good clean answers to the Eternal Seeker. Very, very true. We're in 4 here currently, but again, every one of their actions is generating more troops, so kind of got to be a little bit careful. And again, if we just like draw a bounty and it resolves, we're probably going to just bury them. Even Violet's Curse is pretty good here. Actually, Violet's Curse is great because it does 2 damage. Only one of these has to hit them. Alright, they have it into the unknown. Yep. Probably. I was going to take based on how I feel in the morning. Okay, there's a bounty of the Magus. See if this resolves. Draws 3 cards if it does. Okay, well, I think I'm just gonna attack with this, right? Yeah, it needs another flying blocker. I can Runebind this Rune Snatcher so we don't take damage from it next turn. Oh, that gives it flying tilt. Let's Runebind this so they don't have lethal in play. To draw some more cards next turn. Oh, this one's Prophesize too, right? Sweet, so that's gonna pick up 3 cards. Wow, that's kind of a tilt. Oh, actually, you know, this is actually gonna be okay, right? So what we're gonna do next turn, our next turn is gonna be really sweet, actually. So we can play this Ruby Infusion device. We can play this Ruby Infusion device, and then we can Runebind it, and then Heart's Whisper, guarantee to draw a resource, and then replay the thing. Yeah, so let's just do this. Put a, I don't know, whenever this fight's over. I don't know how long that takes. I don't know how long the children bicker for. Then, kind of want to hit a Violet's Caress here. Oh, we'll draw a resource in there. We get to Oh my. Yeah, I know. You just tapped my shoulder though.
No, I didn't. I didn't touch you.
Yeah, you did, right?
I didn't touch you.
You literally go leave. I talked about setting up this line and then didn't actually set it up, and then we just fucking died because of it. Good lord. Good lord.
I didn't touch him.
Did everyone
He's standing here looking at my phone?
All right, well, we would have won that game. We would have won that game. We do get to play another game of Storm. You're not wrong. But we would have very easily won that game had the Seeker come back into play. Would have very easily. Yep. So I talked about what was happening, and then I didn't Runebind my thing before I played the draw spell. Tilt. And then we didn't draw a resource off the Bounty of the Magus. So if we would have hit the resource off the Bounty of the Magus, we also would have been fine. I mean, it's totally my fault. I'm the one that did the clicking. But, again, distractions. Want you to want me. You to need me, At least the nice part about this is for the tail end of this stream, I don't have to deal with Christy or the children nagging at me. Oh no, she was still here when I said that. Oh no! What a terrible mistake I've made. Thought she went upstairs, she just went out of my peripheral vision. Alright, Withering Gaze, hopefully take away whatever interrupt they have so we can play this Bounty of the Magus next turn. Sweet, we'll take your Verdict of the Ancient Kings away, which is actually a good one for us to have in our deck. She went away so she could join chat. I would just like to point out that there's video evidence of you touching my shoulder. Alright, we're going to play the Bounty of the Magus now. This is Prophesied, which is sweet, because now every time we redraw that bounty, it's going to have an extra card draw on it. More likely she will give me the Withering Gaze, right? Body. Then these home at demons. I wonder if I'm supposed to board out some Theorize in this matchup. Please stop. You're hearing me. So, I used to play a lot of paper Magic, and like when the opens were 2 days, it was even more magic than like what they are now. My record for amount of matches played in a 48-hour period is like 28 matches of Sanctioned Magic, I think it was. I made it to the semifinals of a 10-round open, so that was 12 matches, and then I made it to the finals of a 9-round open the following day, so it's 12. It's 24 matches in 48 hours. The old 2 one-day opens. Please stop, you're hearing me. What a scrub, indeed. Scrub doodly. It was forever ago. This is like circa 2013, 20. They've been 2-day opens for a long time now. I didn't really have anything I really wanted to discard, Burgle. I knew I wanted to make more resource drops. In these now we're flooding a little bit, so we got plenty of resources to bend to these. Yeah, fun. I actually need permafrost in these post-board games. I'm gonna guarantee a non-resource on top here, and then hit my champion power, so we can cycle through another one of these wells. Bounty the Magus is a pretty good draw. That one draws 2 cards at this point. Maybe I'm supposed to bin a Violet's Caress there, actually. I think binning the 4th Violet's Caress isn't the worst. Can you Runebind a dark card in response to... No, so one of the things in Hex that you have to know when you're coming for Magic is triggers that don't target don't use the chain, so you just can't respond to them. It's one of the things that makes the gameplay a little bit cleaner. It's counterintuitive at first when you come from a Magic background. Do you try to tell me opens are not? No, they're 2 days long. No, I'm saying previously opens used to be 2 one-day events. Once upon a time, opens were 2 one-day events. I have 2 Runebinds to protect this draw too, which is nice. Good lord. Let's guarantee a non-resource on top of my deck. What I get for punting last game, right? And just flood out and die this game. Looking for more bounties of the Magus or Heart's Whispers here. Transmogrifade will do, I guess. You can make this into a worse troop here. I mean, to be fair, back in those days, the Modern never had coverage on day 2. It was just like a Modern 5k. And Transmogrifade this. Likely, the average 3 drop is much less than 4 power. I think it's like 2 power or so. Try and Runebind the Runebind here. If they have a second way to fight, that's fine. It is what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4 resources in the bin here. Okay. 4, 13. How many resources are in this deck? 1, 5, 8, 20. So only 9 resources left in my deck. What you got over there? Double Psychic Assault. Alright, I like those. And a Dread End. The good news is, their hand doesn't really do anything currently. So... if we hit a bounty of the Magus here, we're going to be in a really good spot. Transmog, Dread End, and a 10 cost thing. Our next resource lets them draw 2 cards, which is a little scary. Bounty of the Magus or Heart's Whisper would be our best draws here. Something to draw cards. Alright, jump blocks for a turn. I'll play this out. I feel like I might as well. Our next resource is going to let us loot. Nice. Yeah, kind of, Burgle. I kind of want to, like... I want to use this Runebind to, like, protect a card that draws cards, because I feel like using this Runebind to gain 8 is, like, a playing to not lose type strategy. I'd rather give myself the most possible chances to, is Fate Weave in it? Minus cost when you draw it. Weird. Hey, the King with the brand new Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And now, like, I get to use a Runebind to kill one of these dark cards, right? Yeah, sweet. So I get to go ahead and Runebind this one, which then says, okay, so my opponent's got to sacrifice this dark heart to their other dark heart, and then I get to transmog this dark heart during their ready step before they draw a card that can interact, because their hand is Transmog, Dread End, Psychic Ascension. So they're going to lose both their dark cards here. Oh, because you just don't want to take any? Oh, they're transmogging their own thing so they don't lose it. Okay, that's smart, I guess. That's smart. I didn't think about that. Oh, bounty, please. I guess, Caress is also a good draw. Alright, I have to hit something live here. Frustrating loss. We got like, there are 24 cards left in our deck. We drew half our resources and well over half our resources and less than half our deck. Definitely could have won that second game. That game we got pretty unlucky to lose like we did. We just never hit another bounty and we never drew a Heart's Whisper. And they just drew Dark Hearts 3 turns in a row. Lots of control on the ladder tonight. Alright. Get a do over here. It's okay. It's the Fate Weave for another resource for us, which is good. It's a good one to Permafrost. Resource on top of our deck, so we're either getting a Permafrost or a Sapphire resource here. Sapphire that we were talking about, we'd get Rise, ditch this Aegilus. It's like people are playing the Diamond Sapphire control list that I played. There's shield command of the stream, right? Alright, let's play Seer and then play Focus for the card that we weren't prophesizing onto here, hopefully. Okay. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't mind drawing another resource here. Again, just kind of want to like make a bunch of resource drops this game. And again, being conservative with my champion power, I don't really have anything that I'm looking to actively discard right now, so I'm just not going to bother. Not hitting it. We'll hit a resource next turn because we Fate Weaved, and then we can focus hopefully into whatever this prophesies into. 10 out of 10 just gonna like... actually, that's a lie. I'm not gonna snap off this trade because our Thunderfield Seer is valuable on the line as Darkheart fodder. Alright. This incentive to loot since we have another thing we want to put in the bin. A prophesized Arcane Focus. Theorize is okay. I have plenty of resources here, and we just hit another one. At this point, I have resources 5 and 6 lined up, so I'm going to Fate Weave a non-resource to the top of my deck here. Played 7 straight controls in Cosmic on Ladder. Awesome. Arch Whisper is great. Let's draw 2 cards. Thunderfield Seer is so wonderful because it gives us a nice way to not have to discard when we generate card advantage with things like Heart's Whisper. So next turn we might Rotten Rancor. Fight an Aegilus with this Thunderfield Seer. We can just resolve that. That would be nice. Hopefully they play a Darkheart here, and then we get to Rotten Rancor and just eat their Darkheart. It's no such luck. Oh, huh. I'm just gonna go to Mordrom's Gift here. I want to fight this guy. Rotten Rancor returns a troop from my crypt to play, and it fights target opposing troops, so that's nice. It's kind of like a removal reanimate split card. Now that my dorks are invincible, I'm gonna go ahead and attack into theirs. I have a Transmogrifade Dancer, one of their Dark Hearts. They're going to transmog my Aegilus in response here. Into the unknown. Huh. That's fine, right? Hit this Talon Key Puncher that I can't cast anyways. Withering Gaze is prophesized. Nice. I guess them losing that troop means I don't have anything to Rotten Rancor onto, which kind of sucks. So maybe I shouldn't have made that attack because I had the Rotten Rancor in hand still. Eternal Seeker's a good hit. I'm going to put a non-resource on top of my deck here. Still going to sit tight. I don't really want to discard this. Maybe the Runebind I think is a little bit more valuable than that in this matchup. Like tricks with Eternal Seeker, for example. I'm going to go ahead and Runebind my Thunderfield Seer in response to this here, because it puts my hand down to 6 cards. If my hand has 6 cards in it, my opponent won't draw extra cards with the Silvertail and Adjudicator. I really don't care if they have a 3/2 flyer on this board. I want to give them the most opportunity to draw something I can take with Withering Gaze Burgle, so I want to, like, maximize their chances of, like, drawing a Psychic Ascension or having a Runebind or a counter in their hand here, because, like, now I'm going to play the Eternal Seeker this turn, so, like, if they drew, like, a Runebind or something like that this turn, this gives me a better chance of snagging it. It's fine, so they're going to Runebind that. I still draw a card off of this, and then it immediately... Does it immediately recast? It doesn't, right? Okay, so go ahead and Eternal Seeker here. Void their 4s. I haven't seen it with Cyclone Shaper. That's interesting. If my opponent goes Clash Darkheart next turn, we're going to be in a kind of bad spot. We still have a lot of cards. It'll be annoying. We'll be far less... If my opponent doesn't go Clash Darkheart, we're really far ahead this game. If they do have Clash Darkheart, we're going to be like medium minus spot. Because next turn, between this Theorize and my draw step and this, we can likely recast both of these. Psychic Ascension, sure. So we got punished for waiting on the Withering Gaze because they hit their Psychic Ascension. Alright, well. With this Flash and Transmog, so Transmog doesn't matter. What? No. I don't want you to vacuum. Your kids are gross, I agree. They Transmog there to tick down their Psychic Ascension. Alright, love you. Yeah, sure. Have a good sleep. You know they will. Should probably mute myself when I drink. Seriously, they generated a Clash of Steel? It's annoying, I guess. I guess it's not that big of a deal, right? Because I just, like, keep my Eternal Seeker. I'm gonna Runebind this bird, and then we'll put the Eternal Seeker into play next turn. That way we can just void the Mysterious Rune. I just want to keep them off of cards. I'll start by looting. Just all yours. Start by attacking here. Might Transmog this just because, like, flying is annoying. 3/6, all of my troops have lethal, sure. I went 5-2. I punted the last round and missed top 8 on tiebreakers. No. They don't actually have a lot going on here, right? I don't know what their last card is here. I'm just gonna Withering Gaze them, because their last card's an action. I would like to take it away from them. Cool. Oh, and I knew that was an action from their champion power. Sure. Just like, probably the single best draw on their deck there. Balthazar draws them cards equal to the highest power among troops they control and gains them life equal to the toughness. Would like to void your 4-drops, please. Do these Eternal Seekers just, like, beat Psychic Ascension most of the time? It feels like from these games that, like, Eternal Seeker is greater than Psychic Ascension. Is that crazy? Does anyone else feel that way? That's just, like, the game... Is this just, like, bias from the games we've been playing tonight? Because, like, I feel like we're ahead right now, and, like, this would be, like... I wonder if that means I'm supposed to leave my Transmogs in this matchup. Just so, like, I can protect my Eternal Seekers, you know what I mean? Die. Yeah, I think so. I think Transmog is reasonable too. It's medium minus. Like, killing their dark cards is something you still need to do a lot of the time. I want to be. Why I walk and talk like a machine. Build, steal. Have a 4/1. Block. Seriously? Yep. I mean, that's the thing, I guess. Yep. Yep. So Heartbreak, for those who are unaware what that does, it restarts the game with both players at 0 resources with this in play that says we each draw an extra card each turn and we get 1 permanent and 1 temporary resource. Which just said I'm so glad this is on camera, right? Alright, the good news is I get to cast this Theorize next turn. I'm gonna bin the Seeker so I could just Mordrom Skiff later. Oh wait, I can play this resource. On this Benediction, right? Actually a reanimation spell that's super expensive, that's funny. I want to get the Seeker into play so I could void this Fractured Frostheart here next turn. That way they get behind and I'm ahead. So if they don't have an interrupt here, I get to get rid of this, and I think I'm pretty far ahead at that point. The fact that Heartbreak lets us replay all the Prophesize cards is pretty big game too. I'm glad we both had Prophecies card, those would be pretty far behind from that. This. Fine, tilt. That's unfortunate. At least I can recast it next turn with this Heart's Whisper if they don't Dark Heart me. Easily be getting Dark Hearted though. Yep. I guess they have Clash of Steel. It's not the worst. They milled a Mordrom's Gift, which kind of sucks. Need to hit resource drops from this point. Pretty important. You can, in fact, play Shahrazad and Hex. You're not wrong. Man, if we win this game... I'd be pretty surprised if we managed to win this game. I feel like they missequenced that, and they should have tried to get the prophecy on that. I'm gonna give this extra power, and then when the Seeker comes into play, I'm just gonna avoid all those 1-drops. To Runebind something here, probably their Merry Minstrel since it's a Dark Heart. He's too used to Discord where you gotta put the colons on either side of it there. Puts eggs in my deck? That's annoying. Good lord. I guess, like I said, I wasn't expecting to win this game, but this hurts. Runebind my own guy here so it doesn't make more eggs in my deck. And then this Heart's Whisper can let us recast it. Cast it naturally. Alright, 10-10 flying Aegilus. Your move. I'm just supposed to bring Seeker back, because most of the things that kill Aegilus kill Seeker. And then Seeker gets to, like, void some stuff. God, what a tilt. And that would have been a Seeker, it would have gotten to come back. I would have gotten to redraw the Seeker too. I'm gonna have to redraw an Aegilus, and that sucks. Ugh. I've got 2 gifts and a Rotten Rancor in my deck still. No, we're not extending to 48 hours. That's 10 out of 10. 0 out of 10 not happening. Start with Theorize, draw 2, discard 1. And Aegilus. Draw another card from Spider Egg. Theorize again here, see what we get. Go Exarch into Thunderfield Seer. And I think we just crack them in the air and like hope that our guys on the ground are good enough here. Alright, 1, go. Cheers, opponent. Oh god. What a weird game. Dear opponent, please die. Please die. No, stop doing things and die. We're dead to single removal spell here. We have to block 2 poopers here. They can take either of these guys out of the way. We'll die here. Oh look, they figured it out. Champagne, cocaine, gasoline, and most things in between. Oh, weird fucking game. Into the storm deck. Try not to mess it up this time around. Yeah, we could have gotten the... My Transmogrifade is not supposed to be in my deck. That might be the truth. Now... I'm just gonna stick to this plan, I think. That was game 1. Yep. Oh, do I want to cut the Theorizes? Maybe? Maybe I want to cut the Theorizes, yeah, and keep the last Seeker in. I don't think I want to cut all of them, but some of the Theorizes going away doesn't seem awful. Got really excited Bounty and Syzygy. Fuck it. This hand hits a second resource. It probably gets to 3, and then these propelled through the rest of the game. Probably missed for a turn or 2 here. This is a loose keep. Nothing but professionalism here, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing but professionalism here. That's good. High heels work. Time and time again. Nope, the latter is best of 3. Like I said, Hex has a big focus on quality gameplay as opposed to quantity gameplay, which is one of the reasons why I really like it as opposed to some of the other digital TCGs out there like Eternal and Elder Scrolls and Hearthstone. Like, I'd much rather be rewarded for like playing well instead of just like spamming a bunch of stuff. Cocaine, gasoline, and most things in between. Oh lordy, they boarded in. Oh, they are playing my 75, so they have Tribunal Magistrate. So Transmogrifade is excellent, is what you're telling me. I'm putting another resource on top of my deck here. Put a non-resource for now. I've got plenty of Fate Weaves left over here. Oh wait, did they get 2 spiders? Oh, because it entered my hand and the crypt. Right, that is how that works. An arms dealer, fruiting you with weapons in the form of... Opponent correctly identified this was a control mirror post board and brought in the Tribunal Magistrate. Hopefully we don't get beat up too bad by these dorks. Another Tribunal Magistrate here, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Seeker's a good pickup. Play this, and then play this and guarantee a resource drop here. Let's put a non-resource top of my deck here. I'm going to try and get to this Eternal Seeker ASAP. Next turn we can focus. Hopefully, ideally we want to find a Withering Gaze here so we can hopefully clear the way for this Eternal Seeker to resolve and clean all the 2s up nicely. I'm going to just use this as a gain 1. I think that's fine. technically adds a turn to the clock if they don't have another threat. For us, prophesized, it's not. Focus to start here, see what we find. Withering Gaze is exactly what we were looking for. What do you got? Prophesize 2. The Unknown, and another hurt, sweet. Start by casting this bounty, the Magus, draw 2. Loot. They did not have another card that we cared about in their hands. I'm gonna put on resource on top of my deck here. Next turn we can go Permafrost, Eternal Seeker. Kind of Sparrow, so that's why they got 2 spiders out of a single egg, is because of the way I discarded. So when the spider egg happens, you kind of skirt it, but you give them 2 eggs, because the egg technically entered my hand and it entered the crypt. Oh, they get to Silver Talon here. I think we're forced to just jam this Eternal Seeker and hope for the best next turn. I really don't have time for this not to work. I have to have exactly Runebind. Not. Caress deals with one of these spiderlings. No, I don't have any prophesized stuff, Ellie. There's no, the only prophecy in this deck is Thunderfield Seer. Another Dark Heart, sure. I'm gonna lose this, but that's fine. This is gonna come down and eat these guys up. Yep, Permafrost just has a lot of text on it. Get out of here. So these spiders are kind of beating us down. We've got Violet's Caress to deal with one of them. Hopefully they don't have another Dark Heart here. Oh, Hoagland, why do you gotta open your mouth? I guess I have a Runebind to deal with this. That's real annoying. Bird 2. Alright, so I need to hit another Seeker or Reanimate here. Really the one Reanimate that's in my deck. Oh, yeah, that's... Lights underneath. I got the breath of a last cigarette on my teeth. Actress ain't got no mean. Got money from her parents in a trust fund back east. Tongues always pressed to your cheek. My tongue is on. Friend, if he says he's got beef, then I'm a vegetarian. I ain't fucking scared of him. Leave me right now, wanna ho. Only card I care about. Go. I'll lose their spider. They have another Dark Heart in their hand. So it's drawing 3 cards now, 4 cards. I have 1 Seeker left in my deck, I think. I probably just have 4 Seekers in this matchup. Should probably just have 4 Seekers in this matchup. Yep. Red and purple lipstick all over the paint. Bruises. Cover your arms. In the bottom and arm, and the best is no one knows who you are. Just another girl alone at the bar. Loot first. Finds a decent hit. Never trust a hoe. Wow, that sucks. Alright, so... I know they have 2 Psychic Ascensions in their hand. Am I supposed to take one away right now? I'll do this. Shush, girl. Shut your lips. I already used my champion power this turn. I think I want double Runebind up this turn. Well, we're going to be doing more magic when we come back around to the morning, for sure. This is, we're about an hour into a 4-hour Hex block jet. Never playing that before they bird is kind of ambitious. I went 5 and 2 in the bash. They play a bird. I'm gonna Runebind it. Sure. Copycat is good for us. The hell? Again, just like I'm gonna Runebind this, right? Huh. Well, if I don't Runebind this, so if I don't Runebind this, I can Runebind one of these Dark Hearts. No, I'm just gonna let this happen. Let's happen. I can jump here and then Runebind this one. That way they have to sacrifice this one to this one. Hey girl, you know you drive me crazy. One more, there's a rhythm in my hand. Still I'll never understand why you came around. I see what's going down. Tell yourself it's never gonna happen again. You cry, I'm on that ease. I should probably have hit my champ power first since I drew this Primal Prism. Verdict of the Ancient Kings. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. I want them to lose this Dark Heart to this Dark Heart, so I don't want to give them another rune to be able to discard. What's going to end as a light tumble down? New life. Draw 5 bounty the Magus. Don't mind if I do. Reaction in this world without a consequence. You wait around forever, you will surely drown. I see what's going down. It's passing here. Now I'm gonna look for another Runebind. Ding. I want to be able to Runebind this Silvertalon Adjudicator when they play it next turn. Do you feel like a man? Well, howdy, ossuary. You feel better now. No. Stop it. Is there a Dark Heart against them? Well, that's fine, because I can Violet's Caress this, and then they'll Salt to Sacrifice the thing next turn. Going to 1 here. 1 is not none, ladies and gentlemen. Very important life lesson. 1 and none, they are different. 3 damage. Go to 4. Bounty of the Magus. Draw 5 cards. She will tell you that she has had enough. We're going round again. Do you feel like a man when you push her around? Do you feel better now as she falls to the ground? Well, I'll tell you, my friend, one day this world's going to end as the lies tumble down. And then they have to sacrifice. This should be the only 2 psychic sets they have, right? Because we took 1 and they just sacrificed that other one. Do you feel better now as she falls to the ground? No, stop it. Bad birdie. Predict, sure. Sure. I think our caresses and our bounties are high enough at this point that we can probably power through whatever they're doing here. Especially with Psychic Ascension to boot, right? Dina. So I'm gonna block here and then give it +1/+3 so it lives through this combat. That got a prophecy. There's Syzygies in my deck, right? 3 of them. I just haven't drawn them yet. Speaking of, should have done this first. This. Idol. Looking for a Runebind to Runebind this. Turning up a Bible. A super suicidal hostage. Might combo kill them here. Yep. So Violet's Caress, deal 5 to you. This is for the Magic players that have been hanging out since the Magic portion of the stream. This is the Storm part of this deck. So now we cast these. They're free now because of the Syzygies. Now this Bounty of the Magus draws 7 cards, and all my Bounty of the Maguses are free. We're just looking for some more Violet's Caresses to actually kill them. So my Violet's Caresses are now dealing 7. So yeah, these are actually lethal. This will do 7, and then my next one will deal 8. Here we go. Great. We lost that very narrow game 1, so we gotta win a game 3 here now. I think I want all these Seekers. I think I just want all of the Seekers in my deck. I think I want 2 Gifts too, honestly. I think I want 2 Gifts too. Teen Idol. What do I not want? I think I not want to Theorize. I don't want a Transmogrifade. Let's try that. Let's see how that feels. I think I want, especially if I'm going up a Seeker, I think I want at least 1 Transmogrifade. It's like a 5th Runebind to like transmog my Seeker in response if they go to Into the Unknown it. It might almost be Cherry Coke time. Might almost be Cherry Coke time. It's been a good set so far. Put up Mulligan, seems very reasonable. Go ahead and Fate Weave here on 1. God, Fate Weave is such a good mechanic. Can we just, like, take a second and, like, pour 1 out for Fate Weave? Part of me wants to try and, like, build a deck that's just like this deck I'm playing right now, game 1. But another part of me just, like, knows that that's, like, probably a terrible idea. That 1 Transmogrifade I left in my deck because I'm stupid. Yeah, honestly, it really is. Like, it's so fantastic. Suicidal. I should have waited to play that. I should have done this first. Is rar. So we're gonna have to draw with a bird next turn, which kinda sucks. Their bird is definitely like their best turn 4 play. Like, we're generating so much card advantage in this deck that like the bird is like a real threat that we have to kill, and it just draws them cards. No bird, sweet. Oh, big dumb bird. Very excited about these primes. So let's get sweet. I think I want to wait on playing this Syzygy until I can protect it with a Runebind. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass here. I don't want to just like play this and then get into the Unknowned. I want to like play it and then Withering Gaze and like have Runebind to protect it if they have like Verdict or Weave here. I've been 2 resources. Like, I feel kind of bad. I'm gonna miss this resource drop here. I'll play this and try and hit it. That's better than getting Syzygy online this turn. Like, this is a control mirror. I want to hit all my resource drops. Just drawing all 4 Seekers early. But I got to loot 2 of those away. Again, I want to wait on this Syzygy so that way I can go Syzygy plus Gaze and have Runebind up to protect it, so that way like my Gazes will all be free. Like, I'm not super pressed on resources right now, so like just like my hand is all 1-drop, so I would like to get some of these 1-drops free so that way I get added utility later in the game. In an office. That's good. We have Bounty of the Magus 2 to make cheaper now. There's a she-wolf in a closet. This makes all my, even if this doesn't resolve, all my bounties now cost 2. Which is like, that's fine with me. And I can like replay this and Runebind it. Whoa, they just let me take their Psychic Ascension. Deal. Their hand is Runebind and Resource. They do get to play the Resource and then draw 2 cards this turn, so it's pretty good for them. There's a she-wolf in the closet. Ow. We have not played 4-color pile yet in Modern. Played a lot of other things that we have not made much money today playing Magic Online. Not made much money playing Magic Online today. One in 3. Decks like that are just so super clunky, it's unreasonable. Remember, this guy, we can Runebind and then turn it back into a Syzygy down the line here, which is nice. Coming out. But I prefer when we can do both flying ad hominem. Both is ideal, or fun without losing money. We don't have to make money, but not losing money is ideal. That's fine. We had plenty of donations today. God bless. That's awesome. I love hitting escalate spells with prophecies. So now this will get to draw a couple of cards over the course of the game now. Prophesized. It's gonna beat him. That should have just been this last turn. Again, don't really have anything I'm looking to discard, so I'm just gonna pass the turn here again. Fair, interactive, mid-range decks are not good in Modern. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying to you. So, important to note, runebinding this isn't a particularly good idea, because they'll still draw 2 cards, so I'm only cutting them off of 1 card by runebinding it, so I'd rather save my runebind for something else that's going to be more impactful. Like a Psychic Ascension or something like that. I'm going to runebind this. I'm gonna play this Eternal Seeker next turn. Avoid 2-cost things. Sweet. Now I'm gonna go ahead. Do I want a Mordrom's Gift? I'm gonna gift this. It kinda sucks against Into the Unknown, but I guess I have Transmog and Runebind for Into the Unknown. Yeah, honestly, really, there's a lot of room for tier 2 decks to do well in Hex, because there's a lot of pretty uniquely powerful cards, right? I think I'm just gonna let this happen, because I can hit my champion power here, and if I hit a resource off of that, I'll be fine. Skill game. Runebind against the champion that we're playing is kinda risky business, because of, like, what just happened there. My champion runebound it, and then my opponent runebound it, and then my champion let me draw a card on demand. Transmogrifading 7 drops. Generally not good for you. Party Punker, it's been a hot moment since you got excited about a donation. Thank you very much, Party. I do appreciate it. You the best. All you the best. -1 hours to go on the donation goal. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and runebind the crap out of that. I'm going to play an Eternal Seeker out of my hand and void it. Opponent's getting very, very dead here. Oh! Can I not? I can't, right? Because it's -6 cost? That's funny. Yeah, that's fine. We could probably beat the Psychic Ascension from this board, I think. Especially because I can make this flying. All the Sockets decks seem a little bit medium to me. I haven't really been impressed with any of them. Source here, right? Save that for next turn when we want to try and resolve this bounty of the Magus. Let's guess it now. Maybe they got a spell they couldn't cast. Sure. Game 'em late again tonight. See it in her eye. We. You're not wrong. something in the way she competent. He generated a weave off the champion power. It's pretty good. Milled over the Psychic Ascension and 3 Violet's Caresses. Wow, that's good. And they generated a flyer. Okay, this Transmogrifade probably means it's lethal, right? This has to turn into a stay flying for them to live. God. What a tilt. What a fucking tilt. Alright. We're still ahead here, right? It's just we're not winning the game this turn like we thought we were. It's more like the fact that like they milled 4 relevant cards on a mill 4 too. Or 5 relevant cards on a mill 5. They hit a bounty of the Magus too. Never know she's 17. All 21. This isn't even fucking real. Oh, this is the same guy. This is the same guy This is the same guy that hit the Heartbreak against us, right? That was that really long game 1. I mean, do I really want to void 4-drops with the Seeker? I don't think I do, right? I guess that's probably fine. Kinda surprised they left the trance. Like, yeah, I'm gonna play this. Void the 4s, hit them to 5, and then I have 2 lethal threats in play. I was playing cards before swinging last turn because we could have hit cards to interact with the Vampire Prince and kill it. Alright, they played Landing Post Light last turn, right? Yeah, so they could snowball a bunch of cards here if they're lucky. 2 lethal flying threats. We've been here before, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go breaking my heart. Don't go breaking my... Generated a draw tooth, sure. Seems good. Yep. No reason to block. Okay, I have a Runebind to protect 2 threats. Got him. Got him! The old hour and a half to control beer batches. Alright, I think I'm gonna go get a snack and some caffeine. Let me know what you think we should play next. I think I want to run people down with something. It might be Redling's time. Might be Redling's time. Maybe we'll play a Socket Sucker. I just want to kill some people, I think. I would like to kill some people. Maybe, could someone link me the Surging Wildfire Communion with Wax deck that did okay? That might be fun, too.